Okay, so today we're gonna dive into something that's like fundamental to how we all learn, especially when we're trying to pick up new stuff in school or any kind of like structured training.
Right. Yeah.
We're going right to the source, like how our brains, which were, shaped by evolution, how they
Yeah.
affects the way we absorb new information.
Yeah.
And the roadmap for this deep dive is this awesome research article called The Role of Evolutionary Psychology in Our Understanding of Human Cognition: Consequences for Cognitive Load Theory and Instructional Procedures.
Catchy title, right?
It's a mouthful.
It is, but it's from the Educational Psychology Review, so we know it's legit.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about over there.
For sure.
So what's the mission here today for this deep dive? I mean, what are we hoping to unpack?
I think our goal is to really extract like the core code of how our brains process information,
Mm.
especially the stuff it wasn't really designed to learn.
Okay.
And, understanding this can be a game changer. It can make learning faster, more effective, and a lot less overwhelming for everyone.
Yeah, that's always the goal, right?
Totally.
Less overwhelmed, more understanding.
Absolutely.
So to kick things off, this research makes a really cool distinction between two types of information, and they call it biologically primary and
Yeah.
biologically secondary.
Okay.
Oh,
I like it already.
right.
Has a ring to it.
Yeah, so biologically, primary skills are the things that we as humans, like, we've evolved to pick up almost instinctively.
Yeah.
So think about things like learning to speak or, understanding basic social cues or even just navigating your physical surroundings.
Yeah, like knowing how to get around a room without bumping into everything.
Exactly. These are like the generic cognitive skills our brains come preloaded with,
Yeah.
ready to handle.
Our brain's like, okay, I got this.
Right, exactly.
Been doing this for millennia.
Hardwired.
Exactly.
But then there's this whole other category.
Right. The flip side.
Yeah, the flip side's biologically secondary information.
Uh-huh.
And this is the stuff that's like, often academic knowledge we encounter in structured learning environments.
Oh, okay. So more of the school stuff.
Yeah, think algebra history, the nuances of grammar, the periodic table.
Yeah. Yeah. All the stuff that some people love and some people dread.
Right, exactly. And the key here is that our brains don't have like a dedicated evolutionary blueprint for this kind of information.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not hardwired in.
It's like an add-on.
It's an add-on. It's like culturally transmitted, and it usually requires, deliberate teaching and instruction.
Okay. I'm starting to see where this is going.
Right, which brings us to the star of the show, cognitive load theory.
Hmm.
And as this article dives into, it's all about understanding how our brains process this biologically secondary information
Yeah.
and how we can design instruction to work with our natural cognitive limitations.
Because we do have limitations, right? Our brains aren't infinite.
Well, they're amazing, but they're not infinite.
Right. Exactly.
So how does our brain actually deal with all this stuff?
So when we talk about our brain's cognitive architecture and how it manages this, new biologically secondary information, it's important to realize that it's not an unlimited resource.
Right.
There are like these fundamental principles that govern how we take in, process, and store this kind of knowledge. It's like, think of your computer having a certain amount of RAM. You can only run so many demanding programs at once before it starts to slow down.
Yeah, the spinning wheel of death.
Exactly. You get that spinning wheel and everything freezes up.
Yeah.
Our brains are kind of similar.
That's a really great analogy, actually.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. The research points out this like surprising parallel, the very principles that describe how our brains process information. They kind of resemble how natural selection and evolution process information.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's all about efficiency.
Wow, okay.
Evolution favors traits that make organisms more efficient at survival, right?
Right, surviving and reproducing.
Exactly. And our brains favor efficient ways of learning and storing information.
So it's like the same underlying principle is at play, just in different realms.
Exactly. Like nature's all about optimization. And
Yeah.
our brains are kind of doing the same thing when it comes to learning.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and this is where cognitive load theory steps in. It takes these core principles of our cognitive architecture and it translates them into practical guidelines for better instruction.
Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
We're going from theory to application.
And the main aim of these guidelines is to manage and reduce what's known as cognitive load.
Okay, so for our listeners who are out there, wanting to learn effectively without feeling totally swamped, this is key.
Oh, yeah, this is huge.
Cognitive load is basically the mental effort involved in learning.
It's like the mental heavy lifting.
Yeah, and when that effort is too high, when your mental bandwidth is overloaded with unnecessary clutter, learning becomes inefficient and frustrating.
It's like trying to study in a room full of distractions.
Right, you can't
You
focus.
can't focus, you can't remember anything, it's just a mess.
So cognitive load theory, it gives us strategies to cut through that clutter so we can focus on actually understanding the subject.
Exactly, it's like decluttering your mind so you can learn more effectively.
Love it.
So a prime example of a guideline that comes directly from cognitive load theory is the use of worked examples,
Okay.
instead of just diving into solving problems yourself,
Mm.
especially when there's a high degree of what's called element interactivity.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you right there. Element interactivity.
Yeah, it sounds a bit jargony,
I think we need to break that down.
for sure. So
Yeah.
think of it this way. It's the complexity that comes up when you have lots of different pieces of information that you need to understand and connect all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Like imagine trying to learn a new piece of software with tons of menus and functions, and they all interact in these complex ways.
Oh, yeah. It's like when you get a new phone and you're like, wait, how do I even make a call?
Exactly. Or you open up a complicated program and you're just staring at the screen like, where do I even begin?
Totally overwhelmed.
Totally overwhelmed. So in those situations with high element interactivity, instead of just being given a task, a worked example shows you a complete step-by-step solution to a similar task.
Oh, okay. So you see it done first.
Exactly. And this reduces your initial cognitive load because you're not trying to simultaneously figure out all the interacting elements and solve the problem at the same time.
Right. You get to see the pieces fit together first.
Exactly. You see how it's done, and then you can start to apply that knowledge yourself.
So it's like having training wheels.
Kind of. Yeah, it's like scaffolding for your brain.
I like that scaffolding for your brain.
Yeah, it helps you build up your understanding before you try to tackle it all on your own.
So, okay, what's the real world impact of all of this?
Like, how does understanding cognitive load actually change the way we learn and the way things are taught?
Right.
Well, this understanding has huge implications for designing more effective learning experiences.
Okay.
The research really emphasizes that a lot of successful teaching techniques, they focus on minimizing extraneous cognitive load.
Extraneous cognitive load. Okay, another term to unpack.
Yeah, so extraneous cognitive load is basically the mental effort that doesn't actually contribute to understanding the core material.
So it's like wasted mental energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like mental clutter.
Oh, I see.
Think about a textbook with really confusing formatting or irrelevant diagrams or instructions that are just like impossible to follow.
Oh, yeah. It's like when you're reading something and you're like, what are they even trying to say?
Exactly. That's extraneous cognitive load. It's wasting your mental energy on things that aren't actually helping you grasp the subject matter.
Okay, so effective instruction, it aims to get rid of those distractions so your brain can focus on what really matters.
Exactly. It's like clearing the path for learning.
Love that analogy.
And what's really interesting is that the article points out that really effective instructional methods, they often stem directly from these cognitive load theory principles.
So it's not just about what feels right, there's actual science behind it.
Exactly. It's not just intuition. There's research backing it up.
That's cool.
And, connecting this to the bigger picture, the theory also helps explain why some learning approaches that seem intuitive might not actually be the most effective for this biologically secondary information.
Okay.
So the article refers to this work by Kirshner, Sweller, and Clark from 2006. And they talk about how minimally guided instruction, like purely learning by discovery, can sometimes be inefficient when you're tackling complex new academic material.
So it's like you're thrown into the deep end without knowing how to swim.
Exactly. And while exploration and discovery are super valuable for those biologically primary skills we talked about earlier, like learning to speak or navigate our environment,
Yeah.
when it comes to complex academic subjects, a bit more structure and explicit guidance often leads to better and faster learning.
That makes sense.
It's like having a map when you're exploring new territory.
I love that analogy. Yeah, a map versus just wandering around aimlessly.
Exactly. Because wandering around can be fun, but it might take you a lot longer to get where you need to go.
You might not even get there.
Right, exactly.
So this brings up another really important point, which is how your existing knowledge plays a role in all of this.
Yeah, the article briefly touches on how the effectiveness of different teaching methods can depend on what you already know.
Okay.
And there's this idea called the expertise reversal effect.
Expertise reversal effect. What is that?
So basically, a teaching method that works really well for someone who's just starting out might not be the best approach for someone who already has a solid understanding of the topic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, as you gain more knowledge, your cognitive system becomes more efficient at handling information within that domain.
So it's like you've built up those mental muscles.
Exactly. And you might actually benefit more from less guided approaches like problem solving rather than very detailed worked examples.
Oh, so the worked examples that were so helpful when you were starting out might actually slow you down later on?
Exactly. It's like you don't need the training wheels anymore.
That's really
It's
cool.
a nuanced picture of how we learn.
So, okay, big picture time. Let's synthesize all of this.
Yeah, what's the key takeaway from this deep dive into cognitive load theory and its evolutionary underpinnings?
What do our listeners really need to remember?
Well, I think the core takeaway is that cognitive load theory, by considering how our brains evolved and their inherent limitations in processing new, complex information, it provides really valuable insights into how we can learn more effectively.
So it's like a user manual for our brains,
Kind of, yeah.
based on how they were designed.
Exactly. And it highlights that optimal learning often involves instructional strategies that are consciously designed to manage and reduce the mental effort required to grasp new concepts.
So it's not just about trying harder, it's about working smarter.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have a final thought for our listeners to chew on.
Okay, hit me.
Think about the last time you felt completely overwhelmed trying to learn something new.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. And could the principles we've talked about today, like focusing on clear, structured instruction that breaks down complexity, could that have made that learning experience smoother and less frustrating?
Something to think about for sure.
And what implications does this understanding have for how you might approach learning new things in the future, whether it's a new language, a complex skill, or a challenging academic subject?
Yeah, we encourage you to reflect on your own learning history through this lens, like which teaching methods have really resonated with you and why.
Because ultimately, understanding the fundamentals of cognitive load can make you a more strategic and successful learner.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, and understanding how your brain learns is like having the keys to the kingdom.
Beautifully said. That's a great place to wrap up.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thanks for diving in with us.
Anytime.
Until next time.
See you later.
Bye.